My name's Duddy, set up builds and stuff. Today's video is a GM -50 level build that absolutely destroys. I'm talking about the Heirloom with Fortune's Favour. We're going to make Heirloom hit like an absolute steam train. I know this weapon has got a lot of stick, but I really like it. It's a solar exotic from the new dungeon Equilibrium. It is a blaster weapon, heat weapon. And with the heat weapon, there's an exotic that gives you an overshield and it directly boosts blaster weapons by 20%. We're going to be using Ember of Torches for 20% radiant and taking advantage of the Void Overshield with this seasonal artifact pack, Singularity Blade. This will apply weakening to our solar melee, so we are going to be able to get radiant and weakening all at the same time. And the Heirloom is actually getting a couple of buffs from the Fortune's Favour. It's going to get the 20% and it's also going to get the Scorch damage from the radiant, extra damage and the weakening. It all works together and it makes Heirloom really hit hard, even in -50 content. Really good for single target damage, tanky enemies, things like that, and it also causes lots of ignitions. I've got all sorts to show you, including a buff to Gunpowder Gamble, loads of survivability with the Void Overshield, and being able to get Cure on tap as well. Cure ×1 with On Your Mark, so loads of survivability. And I've also got a little way to buff out our golden gun via Ember of Combustion. This will make our golden gun final shots explode, so you can keep chaining your golden gun because you get shots back now with the 6-shot one, so you can literally just keep spamming and spamming away, causing ignitions left, right and centre. And just adding to the effect of your golden gun, really boosts it out a little bit. So I'm going to break all this down in a moment. I've also got an emblem to give away as well, so stay tuned for that. Look at this beautiful emblem. I'm going to hide a code in the video somewhere, so keep an eye out for that. Without further ado, I'll get into the video. We'll start off with a Heirloom. It's Bolt Thrower. This weapon fires high-powered explosive bolts. It's strong against unstoppable champions. It's got the big game hunter on there. Aim down sights for a period of time to overcharge the next shot. You get about 115% damage if you hold it down to the maximum time. And it's also got a catalyst on there, which we'll go into a little bit more as we go. Direct hits with charge shot scorch the target, and the weapon deals more damage to scorch targets, an extra 10%. So you get 115% plus the 10% if you use it properly. The uncharged shots actually do quite a lot of damage. I did a video yesterday. The uncharged shots, check that video out, to do more damage than Xenophage. So work that one out. I'm not sure what that says about Xenophage, but it made me think Heirloom isn't actually that bad. The uncharged shots actually hit really nicely, and then obviously then you can sort of hold it down like so and do more damage over time. 115% you get a maximum charge, and then you're also scorching the target, and then when you scorch the target you're actually getting an extra 10% damage as well. Now if you just look at the standard shot without doing anything, it's 172, no charge at all. I'm going to add the exotic now, Fortune's Favour. This gives you a Void Overshield, so it's really good, but then it also gives you increased damage while you've got that Overshield. Now blaster weapons get 20% extra damage. The bow is a blaster weapon, so you're going to get an extra 20% damage just by having your boots on and having the Void Overshield. So you see it go up to 207. So that's the 20% damage increase. But that's just a start because we've got Singularity Blade this season. While you have a Void Elemental buff, melee and sword hits weaken. So you're going to apply 15% damage increase with your knives. Ember of Torches, there's another 20%. So you're actually getting quite a lot more damage. Now, you're going to get the 20% from Radiant, the 15% as well from the Weakening, and you're also getting the 20% from your boots, and you're also getting an extra 10% for the catalyst for the weapon, because that also does 10% damage. So you're going to see the direct damage increase now. The very first shot was 172. And it's going to 314. That's an 82.5% damage increase just by throwing a knife. Now that is absolutely nuts. Big damage. And we can actually squeeze a little bit more out as well because we've got on your mark. So activating your class ability or landing precision hits grants you and nearby allies increased reload speed. When you get to times 10, all you've got to do is land a few crits. You're also going to get a plus 50 weapon stat, so that all adds onto the mix as well. Now, so bearing in mind, you've got all the other damage we've mentioned. Times 10 on your mark, the damage goes up even further. There's loads of different ways you can use it. You can apply the Scorch, get the extra 10% and the 115% plus everything else you've seen. Or you could just do the hipfire shots, all for that damage increase as long as you're scorching with your melee. Now, on your mark also gives you Cure. If you just keep an eye on my health bar at the top there, while I'm at times 10, you're going to get random cures on kills, which is really, really nice for that survivability. And obviously that works good for your Fortune's Favour to get that Void Overshield back as quick as possible. Which is charging up my other aspect, the Gunpowder Gamble. So defeat targets to charge up an improvised solo explosive. This actually got buffed. Another thing I did a video on that sort of went under the radar, did actually get buffed. Now, if you shoot the Gunpowder Gamble while it's attached to a target, you're going to cause absolutely massive explosions and chained ignitions. Look at the state of that. So shoot it while it's attached to the target, and you're just going to clear rooms, guys. Really, really good. And that works nicely with your bow, because that's going to scorch, don't forget, and you're going to get extra damage against scorching. So just to start with, the bow itself with a couple of solo abilities like an incendiary grenade or your melee, like we said, is just going to cause ignitions. And just like minus 50 champs, I know he's at low health, but look, Bosch, get out of there. That's that Void weakening and the Radiant and the Scorch and the Heirloom all working together. One tap in these, shoot the floor as well, don't forget, and that will kill multiple enemies at a time. It does like a bolt explosion, applying Scorch. I just want to give a quick heads up here. There was Shot Caller on this as well, but I did try my best not to have Shot Caller active as much as possible. But it's quite hard to do. I think there's only a couple of clips where I actually had Shot Caller active. I will call it out so you know that the damage is true. Again, clearing out a room there with ignitions, and then no Shot Caller active here. Couple of shots and he's gone. Extra 20% from the Fortune's Favour on blaster weapons is really, really nice. I think I do have Shot Caller here active a little bit, but I think it dies out by the time I start doing damage to the Witch. And as you know, these little guys here, they don't look much, but they are quite tanky. A couple of shots, 1 and a 2, and he's out of there. That's the Scorch, weakening the Radiant, all working together in the Fortune's Favour. Again, you'll let me know what you think of Heirloom. I've got no Shot Caller active here. It does disappear, and it's like 3 or 4 shots to get rid of this guy. This Witch on that top right. Just watch, this is going to cause an ignition now. And then when I go back, he's burning out. He's took a lot of damage, and then he's gone out of there. Now, I don't think that's bad damage. I'll quickly just go over my fragments. Gunpowder Gamble on your mark. Incendiary grenade, I like to run that because the Scorch lasts for a long time, but you can run any grenade you wish, even a healing grenade if you want. You've also got Knife Trick. This is probably the best melee for this build, I think, in my opinion. You're going to Scorch with that, don't forget, which is big for the Heirloom. We're also going to be taking a quick look at this fragment here as well, Ember of Combustion. Final blows with a solar super, cause targets to ignite. This really helps your golden gun. We've also got Ember of Torches, like we've said, 20% damage increase. And Scorch for your Heirloom, that's important. Ember of Ashes, this helps your ignitions out. You're going to apply more Scorch stacks. Ember of Char to make your ignition spread Scorch. And then Ember of Eruption to make the effects have a bigger area of effect, Now, gear set choices, I thought about this quite a lot. I'll go on my stats first. They're my stats, super. I did build that quite low so I could build into high weapon stat. Now, Ferropotent, while your shields begin to regenerate, you gain flinch resistance and damage resistance. You get 10% DR every time you heal, which works really good with on your mark. So you're also getting a 10% damage reduction every time you heal. And then 2-piece Bushido, which will also heal you on top of on your mark randomly as well, just every now and again. And that will also proc your Ferropotent. So that's a nice little combo to get a constant 10% DR. I'll leave my mods played out like so. Now, that Ember of Combustion I showed you about. Now, the 6-shot, like, I'm only running like a 40 or a 45 super stat because I wanted to build into weapons. And you can sort of see there, it's not bad. It'll just keep creating orbs for your mates, charging up your Gunpowder Gamble, etc. And the 6-shot Goldie actually got buffed, so if you get kills, it'll just keep refunding the shot back to you, so you can keep looping in the right situations, and it applies Scorch now as well, so it all works pretty nicely. And again, just getting rid of these witches. Did have Shot Caller active on this, but on the other clips I didn't, so pretty decent damage for the Heirloom. And then the obvious thing as well, that Void Overshield that you get is quite helpful as well. With the combination of the 2-piece Bushido, the Ferropotent, and On Your Mark all working together, you can keep that Void Overshield up pretty much all of the time, as long as you're not running in and getting cursed, fraud or something like that, which, as we know in these GMs, sometimes can happen, but most of the time you're going to have a nice supply of damage reduction and healing with your Void Overshield. Almost at the end of the video. Obviously, I wanted to show -50, as I always do in most of my videos, but this is just -30 stuff now. And as you can tell, if it works in a -50, it's going to be absolutely fine in a -30. And let me tell you guys, Heirloom in the -30 with this setup is an absolute disgrace. It absolutely wrecks things, guys. I can't tell you how good this bow is. A little bit like Hierarchy of Needs. People tell me this Hierarchy Needs is bad. I'm telling you now, Hierarchy and Heirloom are absolutely insane weapons. Don't listen to everybody. Listen to your old pal Duddits. Heirloom is great. If it gets a buff, even better. I'll leave a dim link in the video description. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Have a good day.